This is a valley that is very particular. It is formed by the Neuquén River, which is very close to us. And a little more than 20 years ago, in approximately the year 98, an irrigation canal was made drawing water from the Neuquén River, giving life to the viticulture projects that exist here in the area today, and there is not much more. And the valley is well defined by two reefs. We call them bardas, that border the full area by the north and the south.
Oh, you can see one over there from here.
That's correct. The entire project is towards the side of the north wall, and the south wall is close and parallel to the river. There are vineyards about 17 kilometers further.
Oh, which is where irrigation currently reaches, right?
Correct. 6 pumping stations were built from that canal, from where we get water to water everything by drip, by sprinkling, like we have here in the vineyard.
Well, and from nothing, you have created a winery that is very recognized here in Argentina, right?
Yes, a large winery. Well, it is the most important in size in Patagonia. Patagonia is responsible only for 1.5% of the national wine production. In some years, Fin del Mundo harvests 50% of all the production of Patagonia. That includes the Pampa, Rio Negro, Neuquén, and Chubut. It is a very dry climate. It's desert. And when it rains, like today, which is a very special day, it is during the winter.
Which is now. It's winter time.
Right here, throughout the summer season, practically no water falls at all. And per year, it is approximately only 150 millimeters. But the great particularity of this climate is the thermal amplitude, because it is not a cold area per se where we are, but it is a region with warm afternoons, but very cold nights. We always have more than 20 degrees of thermal amplitude. For the vine, it's fantastic, because it rests during the night. It does not lose acids.
What is this due to? Because a high diurnal range is normally reached when you are at a certain height, but you don't have much here.
Of course, since we don't have altitude, we do have latitude. We are about 39 degrees south latitude, and we are far from the mountain range. Here we are 360 meters above sea level. But hey, at this latitude, we have a great thermal amplitude.
And then you also have the fact that during the growing season, the days are very long.
That's correct. It is called heliophany, which is the hours of sunlight. And it is also very beneficial because the plant produces all its food by synthesis. So having so many hours of light is very beneficial, of course. And something that characterizes us is the wind. Here in the region, we always have wind, like a constant breeze, with some gusts at times. But that is very good for the vine because it always keeps it dry. Even when it rains, the wind dries the vineyard very quickly. That allows us to proceed with an organic viticulture. Indeed, we have part of the vineyard certified as organic. The soils, although they are all loam and sand, there is a lot of heterogeneity. These soils were formed by water drag, either by the river or by flooding of the plateau. They deposited sand fans and created terraces. We have 3 different terraces with very particular soils. In the highest part, we find more calcareous rock, and as we go down those fans, they are very deep sandy soils. And in the lower areas closest to the river, we start to find more silt or clay.
Regarding viticulture, I see that you have everything on trellises, Merlot like in this case, but also any other variety. Your labor is mechanized, but you're close to the winery. It is actually right over there. That allows you to get there quickly. All your work is mechanized?
No. It is true that we have our own machines to mechanize. 85% of the production is harvested mechanically and the other 15% manually. But mechanization helps in some cases. For example, this vineyard is already pruned and it has been done manually, but the pre-pruning has been done mechanically.
So you cut around this height with the machine first.
And then manual pruning. There is no longer a need to pull branches manually. Just the delicate final pruning is done manually.
And viticulture practices, for example, here I see the cover crop. How do you call it?
Verdeo, or winter green. This is always here. As you see it now, this is perennial. We keep it during the winter and the summer. And then we just clear weeds in the planting line so that it has no competition. This makes the soils more infiltrated, providing organic matter. We try to keep soils alive and not do so much work on soils if it is not necessary. Among the whites, we have Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon, and then small amounts of other varietals like Gewürztraminer or Viognier. And in the reds, we have the largest area planted with Malbec and Cabernet Sauvignon. And, well, we are very strong in the production of Pinot Noir.
Which is what makes Patagonia a little different from the rest of the wines from Argentina. The cold climate varieties like Pinot Noir and even Chardonnay, some of the Germanic ones as well.
Gewürztraminer.
Riesling, although you don't have it, it is also found in Patagonia. These adapt very well to this climate, right?
Correct. Well, Merlot too. I didn't mention it to you, but they are short cycle varieties that like the cold nights as the growing season gets extended and allows these varieties to fully ripe.
Ricardo, we're now in your fermentation area, where you process your wines, which is very large. We see only one part of it on camera, but hey, here you can process 5 to 7 million liters.
Yes, the winery in total has a capacity of 9 million liters that allows us to process the year's harvest and having wine stored from previous vintages.
I see that you have very large deposits, but also smaller, so you can elaborate different plots separately, right?
So as soon as the grapes arrive at the winery, we are working on it by plots. The good thing about having so many tanks in a warehouse that has many vessels, we have 320 vessels between steel tanks and cement pools, is that it allows us to work the grapes in a differentiated way so as not to lose what comes from the field.
Well, I know that generalizing is difficult, but more or less, how do you prepare your white wine?
Generally, for the white wines, we have different qualities of grapes and different harvesting processes. A large part is harvested mechanically, but since it comes from our own vineyards and all our vineyards are right here, the time from harvesting to arrival to the winery is very short. In 20 minutes, we have it processed. As soon as it arrives at the winery, it first goes through the presses, and only the juice of the grape is what goes to the winery and always ferments it in steel tanks at controlled temperatures. After the alcoholic fermentation, it passes to aging, which can be in concrete vessels or oak barrel, depending on the type of wine.
And the reds, for example Malbec and Pinot Noir, they certainly have quite different elaboration processes, right? Can you explain the differences?
Well, Pinot Noir is one of the varieties that we elaborate a lot. We have more than 100 hectares of Pinot Noir, and it is an extremely delicate variety, and the fermentation is with a more controlled maceration. That is, we don't try to extract as much in the Pinot Noir, but we do macerate to extract color. It is quieter, without so much extraction and temperatures lower than the average of the rest of the reds. Pinot Noir ferments around 24 degrees centigrade, while maybe a Malbec or another varietal can ferment at 26 or 28 degrees.
Ricardo, we're now in your area of barrels. It is wet, not because it has rained, but because you are cleaning everything, making the blends and so on. What wines get here?
Well, in this room we proceed with the crianza of all our wines of the highest level. For example, our Grand Cru or Econo wines, which are two blends, a red and a white. The white ages for around 12 months. It is a blend of Chardonnay and Semillon. That's the white. And the red, which is a blend of Malbec, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Merlot, ages for a year and a half in barrels, but in a particular way because during the first year, the three varietals age separately in different lots. And after the year, we test and make the final blend. And after the final blend, it returns as a blend to the barrel for approximately 6 more months.
So you go tasting the wines until you consider them to be ready.
Correct. Yes. We realized that in that way, when the wine has a period of aging by varietal, the final aging of 3 varietals together, it makes the wine rounded. It gains more complex notes. And then it doesn't need as much time in the bottle before being released into the market. It is more rounded.
I see that most of the barrels that you have here are the traditional Bordelais barriques. 225 liters and 500 liters.
And 500 liters.
Yes, 500 liters barrels out of the view of the camera.
We really like the 500-liter oak barrel. We started incorporating it a few years ago. And every time, well, we buy more of those 500-liter because it respects the varietal much more. Then our entire line of monovarietal wines also age in this room in barrels for around 12 months.
You also told me that all the oak is French, right?
Yes, it is French oak from different forests. We really like the forests of colder regions, Burgundian forests.
Those give you the grain a little finer?
Finer grain, which is better particularly for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, which are varietals perhaps more sensitive. So for those we use barrels with very fine grain. And maybe for a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Malbec, we can use stronger oak, a little more intense.